Therese, and this is my fiance Harrison, and we're going to show you how to do an at-home haircut. So here's a whole list of the products that we need for this haircut. So normally I would use a cape when doing a men's haircut, but we are at home during COVID-19, so we do not have capes. So we will be using a garbage can. I will show you how we'll be cutting a hole just so your model's head can like go through. So first you'll grab your towel and then grab your garbage bag. But basically just at the top here, if you guys can see, I'm just gonna cut a hole. So how big is your neck, Harrison?
Thick.
Make sure not to suffocate them as well putting it on. Okay, the more tight it is though, kind of the better, just so like I said before, so the hair doesn't go all over. If you have a bigger garbage bag, please do use it. Okay. It's not a fashion statement, oh wow.
Quarantine cookies are hitting somewhere different.
Okay. Unfortunately, I only have these garbage bags in my house. If I had other ones, I would be using them. But I don't know, if he's a good sport, they will do. After you have the lovely garbage bag on your client, next we will spray down their hair. Okay, I'm gonna try and dumb this down too, so it's like super easy for you guys. So basically, if you spray the top half, if your boyfriend, brother, or whoever you're doing their hair, if they have a lot of hair, what I would suggest is just like pulling it over a bit, and then just like, if it has water on it, it will stay if it's super soaked, but if not, like use a clip. Any sort of clip you have at home will totally do. And so the best piece of advice, okay, if we are using a clipper and we are doing short on the sides and longer on the top, we want to make sure we don't clipper up too high. How do you know is too high? This is where I'm going to show you where you should never clipper above, because that is the biggest no-no for a bad haircut. Okay, so basically, like I said, I do really like this comb, but if you have other ones, like this will do. So you want to stick this on their head, and basically as you guys can see here, see how it like lifts above on top of like the head shape? You only want to clipper up to there. If you're worried about going too far, you probably went too far. So just make sure to keep it there, and then you can clipper a bit, like I'll show you guys in a sec, and then you can always like take your comb back and go back and check, okay? In the back, all guys like their hair a little bit differently. So back here, I mean, normally on Harrison's head, I do like to go up to like here, but a lot of guys, if they have like cow like licks and stuff, like they do like to go a little bit higher. So just judge what their previous hairstylist did. Hopefully it hasn't been too long since they've been to the hairdresser, because normally you could see like kind of an imaginary line. I go with Harrison's, but probably to about here. Okay, so I would put a number 2 buzzer. I would not go lower than a number 2 like clipper guard that looks like this. So on the inside, normally it does say. So stick it on. And then there's also a button on the side that like kind of like, I'll show you guys up here, but it kind of like pushes it up and down. You kind of want to make sure it's like up, but not too big of a deal if it's either way. And like Harrison's doing, just tell them to relax. We all got this under control, obviously. Okay, so starting at the lower part of the neck, just where all their hair starts, you want to push up into the skin. Don't be afraid of hurting them, as if there is a guard on it. It is almost impossible to hurt your client. So I'm used to doing this as this is my job, but if you guys want to start like a little bit here and then like go back up just so you can see, but just go around. And like I said, don't be afraid to push into the skin. Just that way it is all even. And basically just do this around the entire head. With the clipper too, you can also go all different directions. You just want to make sure that it is clean looking as possible. And for all of you guy clients who want a haircut out there, please be still for the person cutting your hair, as it will make their job a lot easier. So go around the head as you're continuing to check, basically, that you have gone up high enough or not. As you can see, I went around his entire head, so basically all the way starting from here, doesn't matter which side you start on, all the way around and finishing here. So if you could do it in front of a mirror, like we're doing it in our washer right now, but if you can do it in front of a mirror, it's super easy just to make sure that these two sides are somewhat similar. I mean, a lot of guys do like one side up higher, so like I said, try and mimic their previous haircut, and trust me, a lot of guys know what they like, so they will tell you. So basically, after we've done that, you can just go around and make sure that you've gone up to the highest part of the comb. So as soon as it lifts off, Harrison had a previous haircut before, so it's a little bit harder to show you, but all of this lifts off, and that is what we don't want to be cutting with the clippers. We want to cut that with scissors after. So next, we are going to take our scissors, and we are going to trim the top of our guy client's hair. So, gotta take these handy dandy scissors. I mean, we will see how these do. These are from London Drugs, so they're accessible to all of you people. Okay, but just spray down a tiny bit more. I said this earlier, but it is way easier to cut guys' hair the more wet it is. Okay, so we want to take the comb that we were using, and basically, the easiest way to do this is, it's gonna look a little bit weird, but we want to part kind of, Harrison's hair is a little bit too short, but just imagine his hair is a tiny bit longer, so tilt your head down a tiny bit so we can see Harrison. Okay, so basically we want to make a line down the top. This is going to show us basically just after we cut this line where we go from there. So if I go down the line, depending on how much your model wants taken off, for Harrison, we'll probably just do a tiny bit. So I'll do a bit more so I can show you guys, but you want to grab the comb, make sure it digs all the way into the scalp, and push up onto the hair. And like I said before, if Harrison goes down, it's going to be straight across like that. So we want to take our scissors and basically make sure to cut straight across. So then continue that line all the way down. You just want to make sure it's as straight as possible. And if it gets tricky, just spray it down again with water. It'll be way easier to grab. Okay, so since we've done that line, that's kind of like our guideline. So even though it looks fine here, it is a tiny bit shorter. So now, so I'm going to tilt you again. Okay, we want to start from the back. So basically we want to swipe all the hair in the front, and we only want to pick up the back chunk. So we want to pick this part up in the back. And as you guys can see here, if the front half, which is on my right hand side, is a little bit shorter, and then the left side is a little bit longer of what his hair was like before. So that is your guideline. So say you cut off more down the center, then this piece right here will be a lot shorter. For us, it's just a tiny bit. Okay. So I'm going to start off by, we want to cut row to row. So first one, we will be cutting this way. And just cut straight across until there's no more hair to go. Also, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that your fingers are like super nice and strong just to like grab the hair, and they're not like pulling different, just because then the hair will not be cut the same. So I would say this is the hardest part, so definitely take your time with it. If your guy doesn't care as much as I would like Harrison's hair to look, my suggestion to you would to actually be to stick probably a number 6 or a number 8 buzzer, and to just go over their entire top of their head. This is just a little bit harder part. So if you can't do this, then stick the clippers over the top, and that will be just as good, just a tiny bit shorter. And we're gonna pull the hair. If you look down, Harrison, just so we can show them. We're gonna pull it a bit more forward. See how that's like super uneven line? We are just gonna cut that. Okay, you can also bring your fingers to like the sides too, because if you bring them to the sides, you will see that it all matches up. So just cut after the line anything that does not follow that straight line. Don't be nervous about doing this part. If you think it needs to go, it probably does. So now that I've went through like all the back stages of Harrison's hair, I am gonna go through like sideways, so all this way, just to make sure I kind of like got everything. So you might see hair that kind of looks like little mountains. It will look like little bumps. And we want to make sure to get rid of any of those. So any bumps you see, just cut them. Okay, so I've gone through all of Harrison's hair on the top. So now when I pull them up, if you guys can see here, hopefully, it is a straight line, as straight as possible. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, but no more like mountain edges. Next, this is the easiest way to do it, is since I started with a number 2 clipper on the sides, we kind of want to blend in like these sides. So Harrison turns, so there, and then there. We want to make sure they're blended in to the top half. So I am going to start with probably a number 4 guard now. And so I'm going to take the number 4, then we're going to be very, very careful with this. And we're gonna go right along the side, okay? So we're just gonna try and blend it a little bit. So like I said before, when we were going up, pushing in really hard to the skin, maybe don't push that hard at first until you get it down a little bit. I told you guys before not to go above. We will start around there. So turn on your buzzer, or your clipper, and then we are gonna go sideways. And a little bit of it is going to be shaved off, as you guys can see. And that's just going to help it blend a little bit better. The back, you'll see the most come off. Okay, so see how there's a lot more hair in there? So for this part, just go right along the side. And less is more for how much you were taking off. Remember, this is just to blend it in. So, just to give you guys like basically an example, is before I didn't go above here, now I'm probably going never above this part. So maybe like half an inch farther than what you were doing with the first clipper before. And then once you get the hang of it, then you can push it into the skin. Okay, now Harrison. Show the sides so we can see. So a little bit more blended there. A little bit more blended there. Just this one part, I think. So if you do this in front of a mirror, then it's a lot easier just to look in front of the mirror and see what's blended and what's not. But like I said, it's not going to be absolutely perfect. So a little bit of blending does go a long way. Okay, one of your last almost steps. So we're gonna take the spray bottle again, and I'm gonna spray Harrison's sides. This one's a little bit tricky. I mean, personally, I would kind of leave his hair how we blended it before. But if you take your scissors, sprayed it down a tiny bit, we're just gonna grab our scissors again and our comb. And some people will have, Harrison's isn't too bad, but some people will have hair that like, if you pull it like this, just like hair sticks out a lot more over top than it does on the bottom. So, I mean, if your boyfriend, brother, dad, whatever wants a really good haircut, I mean, then you can like totally do the step. If not, I would personally just leave it. Okay, so Harrison only has a few that really stick out below the bottom. So you're gonna take your comb and you're gonna push it against the scalp and you're gonna pull the hair. I know you guys can't see well, but basically just down below is a lot shorter than the top. You want to try and match that up. So pull the hair out, and then all these other ones that are like kind of just like chilling, you do want to cut them. You want to make sure as possible your hands aren't completely like bent like that, and try and make them like as vertical as possible. Like I said, I personally would skip this step for all you guys who are just trying to cut their hair to get them through this whole crisis. But if you guys want to do it, it does make a little bit of a difference. So I'm just going to go around Harrison's head and trim any of those that are just longer on the top. Like I said, while keeping your hands up pretty vertically. Since we already trimmed the top and the bottom, there shouldn't be a ton depending on the length of the top of the hair. I'm going to show you how to trim around the ears. So this one can be a little bit tricky depending on how long the guy's hair is. We are going to use the little clipper to do this. Since I've been using the big one, I will try and show you guys with the big one first. First, I'm just going to turn to the side a tiny bit. So he has like a beard going on. So basically for that, you're not going to touch that. If he didn't, I promise this is not on Harrison, but if he didn't, you'd probably want to go around the middle of his ear and you'd want to turn this on and just like press and go down so all this hair disappears. I just went around this ear and this side, which I'll show you guys on the other side, but I'll just make it a little bit cleaner. So you don't want to go too far over than their hairline or else it's going to look a little bit exaggerated. But if Harrison turns his head, if you can see, that's like a nice clean line going down there. So the easiest way to see that clean line is to just brush the hairs this way so you can see. Okay, and then we're gonna turn into the other side so I can show you guys that side. Okay, so we're just on this side now. This side's a little bit trickier. This is the right side of his face. So basically with all of these hairs in front, I'll try and make it so you guys can see, but I'm just gonna go up. And you're only just trimming a tiny bit. We did use number 2 guard, so it should have taken most of it. You just wanna go behind here. And like on the other side, I told you guys just to basically comb the hair that way. And then we'll take the clipper and we're just gonna press exactly where the hairline should end. So there we have it again. And we are just at our final stages. So this is the very back. Okay. So as you can see here, there's hair going all over. So we just want to clean that up. So I did start with the number 2, like I said before. If you find that you didn't go down far enough, I would take that number 2 clipper and go again. But I'm basically just gonna make the line. So I think personally around here is when it starts to get clean on this half. So these all need to go. So you want to be at eye level to do this and just push into the skin. Try not to be too rough or you will give them a little bit of a rash. It's slowly starting to look a lot cleaner. A lot of guys too like you to go really far down on their neck here. A lot cleaner of a line there. Okay, so now that is his haircut. So basically it's a number 2 on the sides, a little bit shorter. Yeah, and your guy will probably shake out their hair like that. And then we want to take his garbage wig off without trying to get as much hair on them as possible. Come on. Okay, so then it's cut off. Final step is basically just to make them look nice and pretty. So whatever gel they have at home, I like it when it's like pretty much dry, maybe a tad wet. So we are going to use this Jade Beverly Hills. It's called Sauvage. I do sell this product and it is amazing. Right, Harrison?
Absolutely stunning.
Okay. So then we're gonna take probably, if I can show you guys here, like around that much. Don't be afraid to put product in their hair. So we're gonna put it in our hands and put it all together, and then we're gonna put it all in his hair. I have no mirror in front of him, so we'll see how this style works. So you're gonna put it all in, and then since you guys are all new at cutting hair, if you have a little bit like crooked patches, this just fixes it perfectly. So just kind of like push it down where you don't really want to see. And then we normally flatten Harrison's hair a bit and... Okay, can you fix it for how you like it? Okay, that's how Harrison likes it. So he's just gonna do a twirl to show you guys the final product. So if you can see here, turn to the side, Harrison. Okay. so it's a nice little blend out here. Not absolutely perfect, but it will do, especially since he's not seeing anyone during this time except for me. Okay, and then turn around. And then that side. So it's nice and clean on the sides and everything. And if this was too complicated for any of you guys and you want like a lesson tutorial or any questions, please just message me and I would love to do it as I have a lot of free time on my hands. Okay, perfect. Okay, well we hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Right, Harrison?
Thank you.